Hey guys, and welcome back to a new loot video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Slayer creatures that were released with the Arc update just a week ago. Not to be confused with the lower leveled versions of them called the Onagami that require 90 Slayer. These are the 96 Slayer requirement creatures, the Arhat. And before we jump right into these guys, I do want to give you a quick rundown on the requirements to be able to kill them. And first and foremost, you obviously have to have access to the Ark, which requires a mini quest in Port Sarim. And then once you actually get to the Ark, you go to the Amanishi Island where they're found, and then you have to do another mini quest called Spiritual Enlightenment. I'm not going to go into how to do those quests. You can look them up on the Wikia or on YouTube. They're very straightforward. But either way, the Arhat are only available in the Spirit Realm on this island. And with all that said, let's get right to it. So even though they require 96 Slayer, and they might seem menacing, they're really not that difficult. Compared to the Slayer creatures that were released in November last year, you know, the Ripper Demons, Camel Warriors, I talked about it in my last video. These guys are pushovers. The Arhat are not difficult whatsoever, unless you don't pay attention. The only thing you have to worry about here is their special attack that they do every time their adrenaline bar reaches 100%. And that is the yellow bar under their life points, if you're wondering. So when that happens, they will throw out a lightning ball at you. And if it hits you, it'll initially hit you for like 2,500 HP and then slowly hit you for more damage every tick or so. And it can be easily avoided by just moving a square. It's really not that bad. But if you're not paying attention, you could get killed very easily. Other than that, there's really nothing to worry about here. They're very easy. They die very quickly. And you also can receive Slayer experience from killing these guys if you are assigned a contract by either Ling or the contract broker in Waiko. They can't be assigned by any masters currently, but this way you can actually get some Slayer experience while killing them. It's not a huge amount of Slayer, but it does add up on top of the nice combat experience. And of course, this is a loot video. This isn't a guide. You're not here for that. You're probably thinking, what is their loot like? And if you haven't noticed already from my inventory, it looks really bad. And to tell you the truth, it is pretty bad. I mean, you get an assortment of adamant items like the adamant claw, swords, blah blah blah. And then you also get some sapphire jewelry. So on the surface, it seems really lame and very undervalued. I mean, it isn't the worst drops I've ever seen, but it isn't good by any means. But if you look at it in a different way, you can see how the drops could be good for some people. For example, Iron Men. All of these items that they drop are very, very good invention components for training invention later on with augmenters and so forth. So for Iron Men, this is a very good way of getting some uncommon items for that. As well as normal players, if they don't want to buy it from the GE, this is also another avenue they could take. But that's not why you're here. What are their rare drops? So they actually have two rare drops. First being the Draconic Visage, which hasn't seemed to be super rare because I see a lot of people getting it. It's definitely more common than the metal dragons like Steel and Irons, but it isn't probably super common like QBD. Either way, it will be a good bonus if you ever get one. And then of course the thing everyone shoots for when they go here is the Seiryu's Claw. And that is one of the pieces that you need to make the new level 85 spear Mizuyari. And because it's a spear, it's actually the best weapon for Corporeal Beast by far. So it will hold a pretty high value for a very long time as long as Corp is continuously killed. And on release, it was like 70 mil. I think right now it's around 30 to 40. So it is a nice drop if you manage to get one. And on that note, let's talk about what I got during the 1,000 kills. So around about 240 kills into the loot video. I wasn't expecting much. I honestly saw this video as just mediocre loot, as I talked about, and you know, just good experience, I guess. Kind of a cool creature. You can see this area looks really, really nice. So it wasn't boring by any means. But I got a Seiryu's Claw. Apparently, it only beams when your loot beam is set to 50k, and mine is actually set to 300k. So when I was picking up the loot, it freaked me out because I didn't even see it the first time. I knew exactly what it was used for, so I was going crazy. And I just had started a stream as well, so I was not expecting that whatsoever. But it wasn't done yet. Jagex was not done having fun with me. And just like 10 to 15 kills later, I actually got back-to-back Draconic Visages. So in the span of like 5 minutes, I just, made 35 mil. It's pretty fucked up if you think about it. And just a little funny tidbit, I actually have a buddy in my friends chat who's an Iron Man, mind you, who's 3,000 kills dry on the claw. And right when he hops into my stream, he sees that I got a claw and like 200 kills. Yeah, you can understand he got pretty salty. It was pretty funny. And I'm sorry that I stole your spear, man. But jokes aside, the Seiryu's Claw is actually not the only thing you need for the spear. You actually have to buy a Seiryu's Fang as well. Good thing is you don't have to, hunt for a rare drop for that. You just have to spend 5,000 chimes at the Bonnie reward shop to obtain it. And 5,000 chimes takes a while, but for me, it took me about 4 to 5 hours to complete from daily tasks as well as just doing the fishing method at Whale's Maw. But yeah, I bought the Fang and made the spear. It looks alright. It's not the best looking thing ever, but I am pretty hyped to try it out at Corp someday. But yeah, I just talked about everything that happened at the Arhat. I do want to say though, they do drop Spirit Dragon Charms, and they're not super important, but you do need a bunch of them to actually be in the Spirit Realm, because every minute you lose one charm. And you actually do get them every so often from the Arhat themselves, but it's not enough to replenish your charms over time as you use them. So if you plan on camping these for a very long time, you have to plan on camping the other creatures like the Onigami or the lower leveled monks to get more spirit charms so you can, camp more Arhat. But with all that said, let's go and see how much I made and sell off that spear. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so I gathered all of the loot that I received, and of course we got the 2 visages and this spear in the inventory, and I'm going to go quickly sell the spear for you guys and see how much I actually get from it, just so you get an idea of what you may expect at these current prices. Of course, it may change in the future, it may go down, it might go up, we don't really know, but I've heard anywhere from 30 to 40 mil, so I'm actually just going to throw it in there for 32 mil and see what happens. And it actually sells instantly, so I'm hoping for like 37. 37 would make my day. And there you go, 35.7 mil. That is fair enough. That is, halfway through my estimate. And I can't complain. That is a lot of freaking money for a drop like that. You gotta keep in mind, guys, I spent 4 hours killing these guys, and I got the claw. So that is a huge amount of profit. But keep in mind, again, 4 to 5 hours collecting the chimes to make this spear. But even then, it's a ton of money per hour if you end up getting one. Also, I did want to mention that the Arhat were updated to have chimes as drops anywhere from 50 to 100 every so often. Some of these kills were before that update, so I decided to not count chimes altogether. And it would have been around about 500, I would say maybe, in the 1,000 kills. So it isn't a ton of chimes, it's really just a bonus, I guess. You also get chimes from doing the daily contracts, though, while getting your Slayer experience, so you do get chimes that way, but do not do these guys for chimes. But with that, because I already sold the spear, I might as well just sell everything as well, and those are the totals of the items. It really is not that much money there. I mean, if I was an Iron Man, I would be super happy. That's a lot of good equipment and jewelry and that stuff for some components, but, I'm a trash mainscaper, so I'm going to go sell everything for a couple mil. I'll be right back. So after some painstaking minutes of selling some of these items, there were 2 items that would just not budge. I tried selling these guys at 1 GP each, not even joking, and they did not sell whatsoever. I'm really surprised the Ring of Recoils have no market, but it's probably because I got 500 in a couple hours, so rip that item. Anyway, I guess you could consider this part of the price check if you manage to sell them, but I'll probably just dismantle these guys. But as for the total loot that I got 43 mil. Let's just say a flat 43 mil, just so that these items aren't the full GE price because they weren't selling. Let's just say it's a flat 43 mil for everything. I think that's a fair compromise there with these 2 mean items. So for you math wizards out there, if you say that it took 8 hours to do this video and I made that much money, I made well over 5 mil an hour, closer to 5.4 mil an hour. And so there you have it. I made a very decent amount of money per hour if I got a spear. Now, if you didn't get a spear nor visages, you will not even be close to this amount of money. Because if you remember, the spear was 35.7 mil. And we only increased, about 8 mil from there, but I already had 2 visages, so I really only got 5.5 mil in regular drops. That is absolutely atrocious for a level 96 Slayer creature. I understand where Jagex was going with these guys for the, invention type drops, but it only goes so far. These guys are really not worth it for the common drops. You're almost banking on the fact that you may get a spear or not. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with my loot, but it is kind of disappointing. I was hoping for, really, really awesome, consistent drops from the Ark, something to camp, but it is what it is, can't do much about it. So, final verdict, are these guys worth it for money? I personally, even though I've gotten a spear, I would say no, because chances are you probably will not get a spear, and you'll make absolute horseshit in terms of commons. But as for experience, I would say it's pretty good. Remember, I got 2.3 mil magic in just 4 hours. You can do the math. That's pretty damn good. Obviously, there's better methods out there, but for a creature that's super easy, granted you can't AFK it, I would still say it's good. It's too bad you can't slay these guys on actual Slayer tasks. I wish you would be able to. Maybe I just read the wiki wrong, but from what I can gather, you cannot be assigned these guys, which is kind of sad. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go hunt the Arhats if you have the feeling you'll get a spear, but otherwise, they're just going to be some eye candy. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.